Goodbye Forte, hello K4. My name is Jimmy and this is the 2025 Kia K4, more specifically the GT line Turbo Limited. And I want to tell you why you may want to hold off on getting that brand new Civic because there's a lot to love here. Starting off with the front end, you get that distinctive Kia shape and the daytime running lamps. These amber running lamps are just beautiful. Moving to the side, we got black accents everywhere. Around the wheels, black wheels themselves, blacked out mirror caps, black around the windows. You do get that silver trim along the side, and it is silver, not chrome. And it does just kind of elevate the vehicle a little bit. You got your proximity door locks on the front doors, and you got this weird door handle in the back. What I will say is, while the vehicle does look quite long, it's less than an inch longer than the new Civic. On the back end, it is sloped quite aggressively. It mimics that of a hatchback rather than a sedan. And it is a sedan. There's this piece right here that elongates that rear window to make it a little bit more like a hatch. Check out those tail lights. Those tail lights mimic the front headlamps and they just look fantastic. The overall look of the K4 is quite aggressive. Sure, it's not going to be to everyone's appeal, but I think, for it to stand out, it needs to be aggressive like this. And if you're not a fan of the sedan, just wait a year. The hatch is coming real soon. Standing behind the vehicle for a little bit with the key in your pocket, the trunk will automatically open after a few beeps. You get 15 cubic feet in here, which isn't too shabby. And you can, of course, fold down the rear seats 60-40 to expand that cargo space as needed. There is a temporary spare underneath the trunk, but that's really it. Not too much going on back here. But let's check out that interior. Getting in the K4, don't forget to duck because this roofline is a little bit lower than your standard SUV. But once you're in, I'm 5'11", and headroom and legroom isn't a problem. You can certainly tell it is an economy car because back here on the driver's side, there's no pocket, but you do get one on the passenger side. The door cards, they are definitely more scratchy than you might like. However, they do give you a few things that you might love. Heated seats in the rear, you got air vents in the middle, 2 USB-C ports, and even an armrest with 2 cup holders in the middle. So it's not like it's the end of the world, but you just get a little bit of black plastic to stare at. But let's move up to the front. As for the front here, the seats are heated, they're cooled, and there's plenty of support on the side to hold me in very nicely. The seats, they actually have a pretty good range of adjustment. I'm 5'11" with the seat all the way down, and I still have plenty of space before the sunroof itself. In front of me, it's a squircle, as it's not fully circular, but it is a newer Kia steering wheel with all the buttons that you have and the drive mode underneath. It's actually quite nice with this dual tone, and you get paddle shifters on the back of it. Behind you get a full digital cluster, which is quite customizable. There's different themes, there's different layouts that you can choose, and I actually quite like it. No heads-up display, but the digital cluster is high enough where that shouldn't become a problem. The center main screen, that's your infotainment, and that has wireless CarPlay. That's been working really well. It is latest Kia's infotainment system, and really no issues with that, with some dedicated buttons right below and a scroll wheel for your volume knob. I like this overall interface. The only thing I would say is some people have to kind of adjust to the climate control. While you do have some dedicated climate control buttons on the bottom for your temperature, fan, and mode, but the other stuff is just on the screen here in between your cluster and infotainment. So while you're driving, it is covered a little bit by your squircle, so you do have to move your head just a bit to see the climate control. That being said, for me, I just adjust my temperature as I need, or I just press the auto button, which is on the bottom, and that's clearly visible even when driving. So no real issues there. The rest of the interior, you do get some nice, soft, injected molded plastic on the side. The armrests are soft. Same thing with the center here. You get your dual cup holders that can eject away, or with a push of a button, they just come right out. So you put larger devices in the center. It's actually quite nice. And this interior actually won a 10 Best award. So say what you want about screens being fiddly. This You know what? For some, it actually works quite well. Underneath the hood, well, you don't get a standard naturally aspirated engine. This is the turbo after all. You get a 1.6 liter turbocharged 4-cylinder. It makes 190 horsepower and 195 pound-feet of torque. Mated to that is an 8-speed automatic feeding to the front wheels. And with those figures, it's no Elantra N or Civic Type R, but this little 1.6, it actually hustles decently. Step on it and it actually accelerates quite smoothly, downshifts nicely. There's no, well, delay or anything like that from the CVT that the base model has. This is actually quite engaging, actually. And it's not only the throttle, it's the steering. It actually has that very sophisticated feel about it. No, I'm not saying this drives like, well, a BMW M car or anything like that, but comparing this to a Civic, this actually feels really nice. The steering is on point. Along with the turbo motor, you also get the upgraded rear suspension. It is fully independent. Now, for most city driving, you won't feel what the difference would be. If you load up the vehicle with more people, it can definitely be a difference. Or even if you're doing a little bit more spirited driving over bumps and whatnot, in corners especially, well, the rear end is definitely going to feel a lot more planted than the standard model. Now, let's be honest. This being the GT line, it's not going to be something that people are going to be taking to racetracks or anything like that. It's for someone who just wants a little bit more power out of their K4. And you definitely get that. You still get decent economy. I'm averaging at around 9 liters for 100 kilometers, which isn't too bad. But overall, like, it's a very good vehicle to drive. Just the mannerisms about it, the safety systems that it has, it all just works really, really well. As equipped here, under 35,000 Canadian dollars, it's actually a bargain when you compare it to a Civic. However, the Civic now, well, instead of that 1.5 turbo, they moved on to hybrid power. And the hybrid power is good. You get both efficiency and a strong powertrain. And unfortunately for the K4, you just don't get hybrid power. It's naturally aspirated or this turbo power plant. Now, don't get me wrong. I think there's definitely a place for this turbo power plant. But if they put in a hybrid system, it's just going to be, well, it's going to appeal more to the broader audience. And I think that's just what it's missing right now. The overall vehicle is great. There's plenty of space on the inside. There's actually decently good looks on the outside. Not everyone's going to fall in love with it, and that's totally fine. But with all the amenities that it has, heated and cooled seats, a large infotainment display, this is definitely things that are going to catch people's eyes over that of the Civic. But let me know what your thoughts are. Would you like something like this that's a little bit more tech forward? Or would you just like a little bit more efficiency of that of the Civic or, well, the Corolla hybrid? Let me know in the comment section below, and I'll catch you next time. Take care.